Hello and welcome to this intro to Solidworks. The first thing we're going to do is learn how to navigate just around a part I already have. I highly recommend a mouse for this as it makes it much easier. So to look around, we hold down the scroll wheel and move the mouse. To zoom in and out, we spin the scroll wheel, and that's how you move from one side to the other side usually. If you're stuck on a laptop, you can use your arrow keys, and then Control plus your arrow keys moves like this, and your trackpad will zoom, but it can be quite finicky. The next thing to know is to look over on this left side to our feature manager. It shows all the parts that we've made, the little sections, and if you click on them, you can see what they are. It'll highlight each little section. The final little trick I have here is on the bottom right is where you choose your units. This comes in very handy. You click here, change your units if you want to use the metric system, if you want to use freedom units. You can also change the decimal places if you need more precision by just clicking on the details and going down here, and you can see this little scroll down bar. So I like 3 digits. 2 thousandths is usually good for machining, for eighths of inches, usually good enough. So now we'll make our own part. So you go to File, New, click Parts. I'll just double click that. When you begin making a part, the whole point is 2D to 3D. So we need to make a sketch first, which is a 2-dimensional sketch. But we need to know where to put the sketch. So SolidWorks begins with just these 3 planes. There will always be these 3 planes, and there's an origin defined. That's how every part begins. So I'm going to choose the top plane, somewhat arbitrarily. And now I'm sketching on the top plane. When you sketch, you need everything to be fully defined. So you can't move anything, you can't make anything bigger or smaller. So I'm going to start with lines, and I'm going to make a little rectangle out of lines. When I go down here, that little orange dot appears on the origin. That means SolidWorks knows I want it to be on the origin, and it'll hold that point always at the origin. A similar thing happens with 90 degrees. I click here, it snaps to 90 degrees. It'll always hold that line at 90 degrees. This one as well. Then down here, it'll snap to 90, and it'll show me how far I need to go. That way I can snap the last one horizontal. Now we have a rectangle. It's held at the origin, but all the sizes are still underdefined. So I can just move this any which way I want, because I haven't told it how big to make this rectangle yet. You can tell it's underdefined because these lines, all the little lines are blue. Also on the left, on your feature manager, you can see the little minus sign. That means it's underdefined. So, to define these things, I want to use my friend, which is Smart Dimension up here, up in the top left. You click Smart Dimension, you click on the align, and then it will give you this little screen, this pop-up, and you just tell it, I want this to be 4 inches wide. So now I've clicked on some random things. I don't know what I did. So to get out of this happens more often than you'd think. You just hit escape a bunch of times, like 10, 12 times, it'll be good. And now I'm still in the sketch. So I want this to always be a square. See, I have this one defined, it's always 4, but it can still go up and down. I could define this as 4, but to make it even easier, I'm going to hold Control, click this line, They're both selected now. You can see over here, line 2, line 3 on the left. And you have these relations. I'm going to make equal. That means they'll always be the same length. That way if you come back later, I'll click the little green check mark. If you come back later and want to change the size, you can just change one dimension. I'll change that to 5 inches, double click on it, change it to 5, and they both change. That's very useful in the future so you don't forget to change parts. But now I've made my square. Oh, it still says something is undefined. It might just need to be rebuilt. I'm going to exit the sketch. And yeah, that just needed to refresh. So everything's defined. There's no little minus sign. But now we need to make it 3D. You can see if I revolve around here, that is just 2D. So to make it 3D, I'll choose what I want to make 3D. So choose Sketch 1 in the Feature Manager. And then go over here to Features. We'll use Extruded Boss Base, which just means bring it on up. That's the simplest one. And we'll use over here, it says blind. That means to go as far as I want it to, no matter what. So I'm going to put in here 3 inches. Click Enter, click the green square, or the green check mark. Now we have a 3-inch thing. I now want to cut a hole in it. So the first step to cutting a hole is sketching the 2-dimensional profile. And go to Sketch, click Sketch, and now I need to choose the face again. So I want to sketch it right on here. I want the hole to be right through the top. I'm now sketching on this face. But since I'm at an angle, there might be optical illusions. It's hard to get it straight on. So one good tip is you can use Control and numbers. So Control 1, Control 2, Control 3, it shows the different faces. Control 5 is the one we want in this case. I usually just click a bunch of numbers until I find the right one by looking. I'm sketching here. I sketch a circle. So there's all these different things you can do. A circle, a rectangle, squigglies, hexagons. But I want a circle. I'm just going to hold this down, make my circle, and now I need to define it. I'm going to click Smart Dimension. Define this as 2-inch diameter. But I can still move it all around. So this circle is defined in diameter. But if I just go over here and like drag it, it doesn't want to drag. Oh, there we go. Drag it around, it can go anywhere. So I'll use Smart Dimension here again. This time I'll go from this point. I'll go from this point to this line. And I want that to be 1.5 inches. And now I got to go to the other side to lock the other axes. So that point to this line. And I want that one to be 3 inches. Click the little green thing, and now our sketch is fully defined. All the lines are black, no minus sign. I'll just go ahead and click Exit Sketch. You see the sketch there, and now to cut it, I'm going to do very similar to extruding. I'm going to click the sketch, so it's selected, Features. Now I'm going to go to Extruded Cut. When we go to Extruded Cut, we can do blind again and just cut a simple thing. But what I want it always to go through to the other surface. So I'm going to click Up to Surface, and then click on the surface I want it to go up to. So now it will always cut to this surface. Click OK, and now it's cut through. So now if I want to change this thing and make it a square or a cube instead of a rectangular prism, I can go to my original extrusion, right-click it, and now we can see we can edit feature. You can also edit the sketch it's based on, or edit the feature. So if you screwed up before, if you messed up, remember that in SolidWorks, there are no mistakes. They're just happy little accidents, and they can always be fixed. So I want to change this to 5 inches and make it a prism or a cube. It's now 5 inches, and we can go back and see that the hole still goes all the way through. And it's very, very nice little prism with a random hole in it. And you're now all set for the wonderful world of 3D modeling.